gang, Jim Farmer here. It's Thursday, I think it's around the 15th, 16th of April. It's probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30 in the morning. Cruising through the marina, heading out to the creek here. This morning it's still a little bit cloudy. We had a front move through yesterday, kind of overnight. And it looks like the wind's blowing out of the north-northwest right now. Got a pretty good little chop on the water. So I'm going to come out here and throw the top water around a little bit. This week, all week, I've only been using two baits, and it's all top water. One's a walking bait, the little translucent walker that you've probably seen in videos earlier. And I've talked about it a little bit. I'm using that, and the other bait I'm using is the Emerald Popper here. A couple things I wanted to tell you about the Emerald Popper. If you watch my popper videos, you can kind of see how I work the popper. And one thing that's real important is it works the best for me using 6, 7, or 8 pound fluoro, whether it's a leader or whether it's just straight fluoro on your spinning reel. That's what I use, and yeah, I think the popper works the best using that fluoro, because what you want to do is when you're using fluoro, you've got a little bit of fluoro out front of the popper after it hits the water when you cast it, and you want that fluoro to kind of sink, because when you pop it, what's going to happen is it's going to pull the popper down into the water. So it's going to kind of go nose down, and that's what helps it pop, is when I can get my fluorocarbon to sink a little bit in front of the popper. You kind of watch, because there's a little rhythm to that. I want to get going on a little bit of rhythm. I want to get that fluorocarbon to sink just a little bit in front of the popper right before I pop it, so that way the nose is being pulled down and making that popping sound. And with the Emerald Popper, you know, it's deadly here on Lanier, and one of the reasons is because the sound that little cone makes on the front. The easiest way to explain it is if you've ever duck hunted or even turkey hunted, and you're calling a turkey or ducks or something like that, you're calling them in, and that's kind of what you're doing with that. Just think of it as, you know, you're calling these fish in with this popper. So what you want to make it do is you want to make it sound like it's a bass busting on a blueback on the surface. And the better you can do that, the better chances you're going to have of catching a fish, because that's all it boils down to, is these bass are really, really competitive. And when they hear that splashing, that to them it's the dinner bell. You know, they know another bass is after something, and they're going to go over there and try and get it. And so when they hear that splashing, the more you can make it sound like a bass attacking a blueback on the surface or attacking a threadfin on the surface, you know, the better it's going to be, and you're going to have better results with this. So just keep in mind, whenever you're throwing this Emerald Popper, you try and make it kind of pop or splash like a bass would attack a blueback. That's the way it works for me. I've been using it, I don't know, 7 years now, I guess. So I've got it mastered pretty good. And you know, the way I'm doing it is just like I described, just using the fluorocarbon, letting a little bit of it sink, you know, getting into a little rhythm to where this thing's popping. Now, it's not always going to pop. Sometimes it gets a little erratic, man. I've explained it before. It's kind of like throwing a knuckleball. You never know exactly what it's going to do, but when you get that right rhythm and get this thing popping, it sounds like a bass chasing a blueback on the surface. That's when you're going to have your most success for this. So watch my videos. Just keep in mind 6, 7, or 8 pound fluoro for this thing, and just get into that rhythm, and it'll work for you real good.